Well, good evening. We made a presentation to the governor of where we thought we needed to end up with the time that we have left on the omnibus spending bill. I'm not sure that we're going to get there. We will send them a bill. We had, I believe it was 117 different objections that the governor had. We weeded out over 60% of them and what we thought were the most objectionable, but I don't know that that's going to be good enough, and so we're going to move forward there. The tax bill, we made an offer to include some education funding. That funding will, in fact, I'll maybe let the
I can do it.
I'll let you do it. But so that's that one, and then we're working on the bonding bill as well. So, Mr. Speaker.
Sure. So as part of the tax bill, and actually putting the school funding into the tax bill was the governor's idea. He has mentioned that to all of you a couple of times. In our proposal for education funding, and the idea here is that schools need some more money. They're in a little bit of a budget shortfall in a few areas, so to get them some more dollars, we've taken kind of a multifaceted approach. Number one, schools currently are owed money from the state of Minnesota for back use and back rent of school trust funds lands that they have not been paid for. So part of our proposal is to give schools $50 million as back rent for that school trust fund land. The next component is allowing them use of the 2% set aside for staff development. This is something Democrats did when they had complete control of state government in 13 and 14. That component adds up to about $125 million. And the third component would be to allow them to transfer reserves from community education funds to the school district for use how they see fit. All told, that proposal is about $225 million of cash that would be made available for schools to meet those needs. So it's almost twice as big as what the governor is proposing to give schools access to. So we think this is a really serious proposal, and these mechanisms that we're using, one of them is money we already owe to schools, and two of them are mechanisms that Democrats have used themselves at times of shortfalls, emergency situations like this, to give schools access to more funds. And that's really the main goal here. So we see it as a real proposal, and I think the governor received it that way, and I think we'll keep talking about that.
Yeah, and let me add one more there, because that's not all of the education funding. In the bonding bill, we're going to include $25 million of cash for school safety. And so if you add that number, we're at $250 million plus the $28 million that we have in the spending bill. So it's a very, very significant offer. We spread it across all three bills, in addition to the pension bill, which also fixed the education pension. So all in all, we felt like we offered a very fair package of legislation. Our hope is that he signs all of it, but that will yet to be seen.
Are you planning to take up the supplemental budget bill tonight?
Yes, based on our conversation this evening, the Senate will take up the supplemental spending bill tonight.
In the House?
We will wait patiently for the Senate to send it to us, and we will take it up tonight as well.
So to be clear, there's not a standalone school safety bill. It's wrapped up in this larger proposal you guys have.
There are two pieces dedicated specifically to school safety. One of those is in the supplemental spending bill. That's about $28 million. The next piece of school safety is in the bonding bill. It's a $25 million cash appropriation within the bonding bill for schools to use for capital improvements on their facilities. And then we also are giving a large amount of new dollars that have a lot of flexibility that schools actually could also use for school safety, but they can use those dollars in the tax bill however they see fit.
And your sense is, after presenting this to the governor, is that he's willing to consider this?
Yes, yeah. He can speak for himself, but yes, that was our impression. And obviously, when you hear the numbers that we're talking about and the sources, this is a great proposal. Much of it are mechanisms that the Democrats have used themselves in the past to give schools flexibility and really to give schools access to resources in case they do have a shortfall. So. Just in the tax bill, we're giving schools access to about $225 million. The governor's proposal was $130 million. So obviously, it's something we all take seriously, and we want to make sure we get those schools the resources that they need.
Okay, to be clear, you thought he was accepting of your tax proposal. What about the overall omnibus bill? Is he accepting of that? Did you come out thinking that?
The
omnibus
supplemental spending bill?
Supplemental spending and
No,
policy and everything.
You know, the governor, unfortunately, the governor gave us a list last night of about 117 items, 116 items, something like that, that he had or found objectionable. Some of those obviously were things that he found very objectionable. Some of them were things like making sure that drivers had to move over if they were driving slow in the left lane. So, you know, that's one that I think can probably slip by the goalie, right? So, I mean, when we look at proposals like that, we have to use some judgment, and we really made the best effort that we could to try to remove the most offensive and most objectionable things to the governor. We made, I think, almost every language change that the governor proposed, and we changed the vast majority of things that he requested us to change. If you want to look at a football field, sometimes around here we think if you can get to the 50-yard line, that sounds great. We're beyond the 50-yard line. We went beyond the 60. You know, we're beyond 60 yards closer to the governor. So it's a good proposal. There's a lot of funding in that bill that's necessary, and we know the governor wants. We hope he takes a serious look at it. But as of right now, he's indicated that he likely would not accept that bill.
What about his proposal that he made? What was,
71 items we changed off of that list, if you weren't.
what about the
keeping
tax
track.
bill proposal that he made, going only part way on the income tax?
Well, I love the word compromise, but we can't throw it around as if there was real compromise in that tax bill proposal. The governor's tax proposal increased taxes, about $300 million on Minnesotans at a time when we've got a surplus. Unfortunately, there was no real compromise in that tax proposal, so we didn't see it as realistic.
And it appeared, you'll have to confirm it from him, but it appeared that he eliminated the middle class tax cut, the middle class income tax cut. He increased the lower tax bracket cut, and it appears that he increased the third bracket up. And so that's where you'll have to confirm that with him, but for us that was a non-starter. We wanted to make sure that 99.8% of all Minnesotans filing their individual tax return would have either no tax increase or a reduction. His picks winners and losers. We don't want to do that. Thank you.
Do you plan to send the governor the same tax bill that he vetoed in conjunction with the budget bill?
The question was about will we send him the same tax bill. The two tax chairs met with Commissioner Bowerly early this morning. She had some changes that she would like. Any of those that we can accommodate, we will, but the basic tax bill will be the same. Thank you.